Hi everybody, it's Bobby Pratt with the Great Lakes Surf Rescue Project. May is Water Safety Month and we're continuing our month-long series on water safety. Today is May 21st and we're continuing the talk that we started on Friday about how Michigan replaced lifeguards with a flag system in the 1990s and why that's problematic. Today we'll continue our discussion on the problems with the flag system. And again, we have concrete examples from today, believe it or not. So this is a picture of the beach in South Haven today. And they're flying green flags, as you can see. And yes, the water conditions are fairly benign, but the water temperature is 45.5 degrees. The water temperature is deadly cold. If someone were to fall off the pier or jump off the pier into Lake Michigan today with the water temperature being mid-40s, they would immediately have what we call cold water shock. Their breathing would increase dramatically, their heart rate would increase dramatically, and if they did not have flotation or were not provided with flotation, with something like a life ring that we talked about yesterday, then their survival would be measured in a matter of minutes. It's simply cold water is incapacitating. And so to suggest that there should be green flags flying when the water temperature is deadly cold is absurd. Yesterday, there were yellow flags flying near the North Pier, and the conditions were extremely dangerous. Here's a video taken yesterday under yellow flags at North Beach in South Haven. As a trained surf lifesaver and as a lifeguard with more than 40 years of experience, I can tell you that this water is deadly. Many times the flags are not changed in a timely manner. If they're used by lifeguards, lifeguards are at the beach with eyes on the water. They know that when the conditions are changing, they're able to change the flags on the lifeguard stands in a very timely manner, and they're able to keep up. Unfortunately, a lot of our beaches are short-staffed and they don't have personnel dedicated to watching the water and knowing what the conditions are, so the conditions can change rapidly. I've been at the beach before, late afternoon. I was in one of the Michigan State parks and they were flying a red flag, and it was very warm. The air was warm in the 80s. The water was in the 70s. It's a beautiful, pure Michigan day. The water was absolutely flat calm and there was a red flag flying. So before I went into the water, I asked one of the rangers why there was a red flag flying, and I was told that it was because early in the morning a storm blew through and it was rough, and they just haven't had a chance to change the flags. This is outrageous. The flags are a life safety tool, and if they're not changed in an appropriate, timely manner, then they give misinformation and they become reckless, they become dangerous, and they can result in people having a false sense of security. And so it's heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking when we see drownings happen on green flag days, because parents think that their children are safe because green equals go, according to the signs on the beach, and green equals safe to a lot of people, and so they believe that that their children are safe out in the water, and so they're not as vigilant as they should be. In addition, we have, it's hard to believe. It's really unfortunate, but the state of Michigan decided last year that instead of just having red, green, and yellow, they were going to add a double red. And a lot of coastal communities do this, and I understand why a lot of coastal communities do this, but most of those beaches in coastal communities also have lifeguards who are able to determine what the actual flag color should be, and they only close beaches with a double red flag under very, very, very dangerous situations. All of this wasn't confusing and irresponsible enough. We have different flag meanings for different municipalities. The city of South Haven has 2 city beaches, and they use red, green, and yellow. A red flag designates that the water is closed, and you are subject to a $1,000 fine if you enter the water or you go out on one of the piers, one of the structures that we have, or if you jump off one of the structures that we have. 5 miles south of the city of South Haven is Van Buren State Park, and they use red, green, yellow, and double red. A double red flag means that the beach is closed. A single red flag means that the beach is still open. It's dangerous, but you're still allowed to swim. So if you're at a beach with a red flag in Van Buren State Park, you are completely legal. If you walk 5 miles north and you enter the water on a single red flag in South Haven, you're subject to a $1,000 fine. This is just ludicrous. If we can't get together and decide this consistent colors of flags and how many flags we're going to fly and what conditions they'll fly under, it just confuses people. And water safety on the Great Lakes is already confusing. There's no reason for these municipalities to add more confusion to the system. I wish I could say that these cases of inappropriate flags were rare. Sadly, they're way too common. We have dozens of documented cases, like this one in South Haven. Last July 1st, the buoys reported waves of less than a foot. As you can see, the conditions are nearly flat, and yet we have yellow flags flying. Or this picture, also from South Haven, showing a red flag flying, and the waves are 1 to 2 feet. Again, the buoy was reading less than 3 feet. And we have a red flag flying, indicating that not only is the beach closed, but you can be subject to a $1,000 fine if you enter the water here. Like I said, I could show dozens more examples, but I'm going to finish with these two pictures that sum up the failed beach system. On June 30th, Grand Haven was flying double red flags, and the top picture shows you the conditions. The buoy at Port Sheldon was 1 foot 5 inches. This is a double red flag. The beach is closed because it's too dangerous, and you can be cited, ticketed if you go in. 2 months later, on August 30th, the Port Sheldon buoy was at 4 feet. The bottom picture shows the conditions. The beach had a single red flag, and therefore the beach was open. So take a look at these two pictures and you tell me which one you think is more dangerous. Tomorrow we're going to take on the issue of signs at our beaches. And unfortunately, they're kind of as messed up as the flags and the lack of lifeguards. So I hope you'll join me, and I hope you have a great day. See you tomorrow.